What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 28th and final day of February, and here we are, sitting at about 64.7K. It's the final day. Let's look at the monthly candle. Man, that is a gnarly monthly candle, right? We're down about 17%, 17.5% here in November. This month is worse than November. If we closed here, it's just a little bit worse. That's crazy. Something I do want to mention, too, while we're in these terrible, crazy times, is that Bitcoin has never in its history seen more than 6 red months in a row. We're on the 5th red month. Now, there will be a time where it does see more than 6 red months in a row. Could it be this time here? It's possible. But statistically speaking, these downward sloping trends where we just consistently move down month after month, they don't last typically longer than 3 months, let alone 5 months. The longest stint that we ever saw was 6 months, and that was here. And in this 6-month downtrend, the low actually came in on the 5th month. Okay? I say 6-month downtrend, really 6 months of red closes. Anyways, that's the only time we closed 6 red months in a row, ever. We've never done it before. And as far as 5 red months go, I don't know. There's probably a couple examples of that, or maybe there's not. I don't know. Right here, that's the only time as well. It's not a common thing to move down this much for this long, this persistently. Anyways, that's what the monthly close will likely look like, something about here. You know, we'll look at the 1 hour, 4 hour, see if we see any volatility upcoming. It is Saturday. It's a boring day, so I don't expect much to happen. Saturdays are typically very boring. Before we get into the short-term stuff, I want to address a theory, a thought, kind of what I assume, and this is an assumption of what I believe the psychology of the market is right now. Okay, I'm going to put myself, and I want you to join me, put ourselves in the position of anybody who bought Bitcoin or other cryptos here. Hi, Mufasa. Hi, buddy. Yeah, that's Mufasa. Oh, he gets camera shy. He's like, I want your attention, but I don't want the camera's attention. Anyways. Let's put ourselves in the perspective of anybody who bought here, okay? If you bought here, cool. You've got this perspective, so you already know. If you didn't buy here, imagine if you just imagine if you've been waiting. Imagine you had $100, $100,000, something in between, something more, whatever, and you were thinking about buying here, but you heard the rumors that we were in a bear market. You were skeptical. You wanted to see if we'd break out first or break down first. You waited. You played the patient game. And finally, the magic happened, right? You got the price drops. It's at a discount. You have your money on the side. You're ready and able to buy down here. You're waiting and waiting and waiting. And you never buy. You're waiting for the low to come in. Finally, it does. It comes from 60K. You go all the way up to 72K in like a 2-day time. That's crazy. Imagine anybody who bought here, because there were people. There's a lot of people who did buy throughout all these days. What are they telling themselves? They're telling themselves this. Well, I didn't get the absolute low, but damn, this is not a bad time to buy. And in reality, objectively speaking, I think we can all agree, this is not an opinion. This is a really, really true statement here. This is a really good time to buy. It is. And that's what makes this so enticing for people to buy. The people who are buying here, what are they telling themselves? They're telling themselves this. If I buy here and it goes lower, whatever. You know, it's okay. If it goes a little bit lower, I still bought the relative low. It'll probably come back up, whatever, you know. Even if we go a lot lower, whatever, I'm still DCAing in at a good price. Pay attention to that thought logic right there. Because any time that I personally have had that thought logic where I'm like, it could go lower, it could go higher, we're in this consolidation phase, but whatever, we're down a lot anyway, so screw it, I'll just buy. Anytime I've ever seen that, the market's always like, oh, okay. Even if it goes lower, you're okay with that? So you want to buy here? That's okay. All right, we're going to go lower then. And any time that I have that frame of mind, and I believe a lot of people do right now, we typically do see a lower low. We typically test that faith. So, and the reason why is because new buyers are some of the most shaky hands, right? There's a lot of people who bought down here who are strong hands, who they're not selling until they die, or they even then it won't sell. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people who bought for the long haul, but new buyers, whenever the price starts to go against them, emotion takes over, you know, whatever. Even if you had the patience for this, if things, and even if you tell yourself, if it goes lower, I'll be fine. Still, when you see that lower low and you're not really expecting it, you're kind of thinking that you're buying at a good price and it's going to come up. You're going to get to play off that volatility. It messes with you psychologically. You think you're making the right decision, and then by all definitions, whenever you see a lower low, it's clear that it was not the right decision. But again, objectively, we spread this out over 5 years, over 3 years. This is an objectively awesome area to buy. But again, new buyers are shaky buyers most of the time. I mean, if not all the time. The people who bought here are sweating the most, and there was the most volume here. The people who bought here are also sweating. The people who bought here are also sweating. There's a lot of volume up here. Most people think that the way that the charts work is there was the most buying down here. That's why the lows were upheld, but that's not true. Most of the buying probably and very likely happened up at the top ranges here. Because when there's no more buyers left, that's whenever the price stops moving up. When there's no more sellers left, that's when the price stops moving down. More or less, right? Just kind of an idea. And that's a different distinction than there's so many sellers that it's pushing the price down, right? That all the sellers must have been up here, but that's not true, right? All the sellers are probably here at the lows as well. Anyways, I'm getting caught up in things that we don't need to talk about necessarily. All I'm trying to say is that any time in history for me, and this is, you know, 10 going on 10 and a half years here being in the crypto space, that I've ever said, I didn't buy at the perfect low, but screw it, you know, even if it goes lower, even if it goes a little bit lower, I'm buying at a good price. Anytime I've thought that, your faith typically gets tested. And right now, a lot of people are expecting that this area will prevail, that this is a good area to buy, and it is. Of course it is. And I think that our faith will be tested. I've made that point enough. I don't think that I need to keep saying it, so I'm going to go on the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there, okay? 1 hour time frame here. First and foremost, that was decent volume on the way up, guys. But again, where did most of the volume come in? At the top. Where did most of the buying pressure happen? At the top, right? Picking up volume as you're coming down, that's not good. Picking up volume as you're coming down, it's dying off a little bit. That's kind of exciting, right? This gives us the notion that, hey, it's dying off. Maybe we are about to turn the tide and move up here. I was kind of expecting that we might pop off a little bit here. But I mean, yesterday, to be fair, I was calling for lower lows, and I have been calling for lower lows ever since we got below 66K. But here we are, going below 66K, right here. And then what do? We back tested that level for resistance, and we found it. And then we picked up in volume. Volume stopped decaying, and it actually started to pick up. So here we are in this little downward sloping trend, and we're picking up momentum as we're going down. That's not good, guys. That's not good. A little bit of volatility here. Little Bart-like action, that's fine, but we likely do come back down. The 1 hour RSI, you have a higher high in the RSI with lower highs in the price, hidden bearish divergence, stochastics look bearish, and the MACD looks interesting, but it's bearish as well. 4 hour time frame. Bouncing right off the oversold zone is nice, and I mean, we look at this 4 hour RSI, it's kind of interesting, the shape here. You've got this long kind of lasted trend. Just unfortunately, you're not getting overbought. You're not really getting overbought at all. You're rejecting it, but you are rejecting the oversold zone too. Typically, whenever you go from oversold, overbought to oversold like this, you're seeing some high volatile moments, and that's what we're doing right now. We're seeing a little bit of volatility here. Stochastics are coming up out of the oversold zone, so that's nice. It is Saturday. MACD is so unreliable on the 4 hour, it's crazy, but that's what you get whenever you're choppy and sideways. So we're not even going to worry about the MACD. It is Saturday. I wouldn't be surprised if we were to move up that it would be today, or like it would just be very minimal and very boring. We give this stochastic some time to cool off from the downside and come back up, and then it's able to come back down, right? Stuff like this. We might find resistance here or resistance here before coming back down, right? I highly doubt that from here the stochastics are going to go all the way up to the overbought zone, but even if that happens, I don't expect that we're going to get a powerful move up. It will likely just be another lower high, and then we'll resume moving down going into March. I do believe, and I have said, that I think that the beginning of March will provide some downside selling pressure. And I do believe that March will be a good month. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen, is that we're going to sell. All of the sellers are going to be exhausted at the lows, right? Most people are not selling here, they're buying here. They're thinking in their heads, you know, maybe some speculative traders, maybe there's some that are trading the volatility and stuff like that, but most people in this range are probably buying. So the test is going to come in at this low, and there's going to be a lot of people who buy, who on principle will just sell as soon as we break below this low, or maybe even sell as soon as we break below this low. There's probably some people who sold already, breaking below that low, and maybe they got caught, they bought back in. I don't know. You know, it's all kinds of stuff. But all I'm trying to say is people's faith will really be tested once we get below this level here. There's probably going to be a lot of stop losses that get hunted out. I am expecting personally a partial drop below this low, not anything fantastic, just a partial drop, something just below 60K, probably above $58,000, but you could go as low as like 54, 53K, something in that range. And we derive that range really from like this fib here, from a low to a high. We're not going to take the fake out high. 57.4 to 54K right there. We look at the daily time frame and we take this range here as well, from our low to high here. The 2618 is right there at 58.8K, 53.4K. So something in that kind of area. That's what I'm expecting personally. This could have more dominance. That would promote the idea that we do go to 57.4K or lower. But I do accept 58.8K as a minimum standard personally. We look at this on the daily time frame, and we're just continuing to build this hidden bearish divergence, getting higher highs. Imagine if the tables were turned. If we were very bullish, right? We're moving up. I mean, this looks like it wants to break out to the upside. It really does. And then we look at the RSI, and it's looking like this. What we're getting is lower lows. We're cooling off. We went from being overbought to cooling off. We've cooled off, and all we've gotten was higher lows. It's like the bears are trying to push the price down, and they're getting less results. That's a bullish thing, you guys, and that typically means now that you've cooled off, you can run back to the overbought zone, and that's whenever you break out. I'm going to flip it back over. Except in this scenario, it's a bearish thing, not a bullish thing, right? Higher highs, lower highs, not a good thing. Stochastic, same thing. Higher highs, lower highs, not a good thing. MACD even, higher highs, lower highs, not a good thing. All of these indicators are bearish, absolutely. And they're all in somewhat of like a consolidation phase in a bearish trend. That's what's happening here. I don't really have anything else to say. My closing thoughts are, I don't believe March will be a red month. I believe it will be a green month. So these lower lows are definitely prime for buying. But I do believe people will be freaking out, and I do believe there will be a lot of emotions. I believe it's not going to be as fast as this finish here. We're probably going to slowly move down. There might even be a little bounce there. People get excited, and then we drop. And I don't think it's going to be that extreme of a drop. It'll probably be a little bit lower. But there will be a lot of fear once we're below here. All I'm trying to address is that this is likely going to happen. It's not something to be fearful of. We're going to look back at it as a point at which we bounce from and recover, and even go back above the highest prices that we've attained in this range all of February. But first, your faith will be tested. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.